Welcome to the demonstration of the InterQ Trusted Framework. Through this demonstration, you will be able to see the functionalities provided by the Trusted Framework and how someone can interact with it through its API. The InterQ Trusted Framework comprises of the Ledger node, which features the smart contracts and the blockchain infrastructure, the Data node, which stores the payload of the quality hallmarks, and the Personal node, which is installed by the user in his or her premises in order to interact with the backend components. On the left-hand side of your screen, you see the Open API of the Trusted Framework with all the available endpoints, for example, for publishing a new quality hallmark document in the ledger. We will use this interface to interact with the underlying blockchain infrastructure and trigger actions that involve the smart contracts developed in the context of Work Package 6. On the right of your screen, you see a blockchain explorer that is connected to the blockchain network of the Trusted Framework and visualizes the network as well as incoming transactions. The first action will be to publish a new quality hallmark document to the ledger, so we will send a post request to the corresponding endpoint as you see at your left. An example JSON object with the correct header structure is pasted in the parameters section, and after filling out all details, such as time and asset, we click execute to send the request. Meanwhile, at your right-hand side, you can see the number of transactions increasing to 166, since 2 new blockchain transactions are added to the ledger. We see the response in the Trusted Framework API and copy the unique ID of the new quality hallmark for our reference. Then we expand the endpoint to validate and retrieve quality hallmarks and paste the previously copied ID to the parameters of the request. Upon clicking execute, the hallmark is retrieved from the ledger and we can see its data in our screen, since it was successfully validated by the Trusted Framework. Going back to the post request for publishing new quality hallmarks, we paste a new hallmark JSON object with the same owner attribute to be stored in the ledger, as we can see from the increase of the number of transactions in the Blockchain Explorer. After the successful response from the UI, we again copy its unique identifier and paste it to the endpoint for the retrieval of quality hallmarks. The new quality hallmark is again successfully validated and retrieved from the Trusted Framework. Now, we copy the owner of the 2 published quality hallmarks in order to use it as a filter in a new request using the filtering endpoint of the Swagger API. We paste the owner in the corresponding parameter field and execute the request to the Trusted Framework. A new transaction is added in the blockchain, as can be seen in the Blockchain Explorer. The Trusted Framework API retrieves the 2 previously published quality hallmarks and shows them in the UI. Then we use a more advanced method for filtering quality hallmarks, based on their content, which structure is open and depends on the use case. This way, we provide a path expression to reference a JSON field, called a JSON path query in technical terms. The result is again the 2 previously saved quality hallmarks, since both of them include the requested field in the body of their JSON object. In the following, and for demonstration purposes, we use a random string to retrieve a quality hallmark from the Trusted Framework. The response is that it doesn't exist on the ledger. Finally, we intentionally manipulated the response of the Data node to the Ledger node in order to validate the Trusted Framework performance. As you can see, the response of the API is that the data received from the Data node cannot be validated since they are not the same as those stored in the blockchain.